So my name is Kevin Cal Callaher. I'm the editorial cartoonist for the Economist magazine and the Baltimore Sun, and I'm here to give you my top 10 favorite cartoons in my 35-year career. All right, starting in at number 10, this is a cartoon that I call Parties, and this cartoon, cartoons, we work with symbols of donkeys, elephants, Uncle Sam, that sort of thing. But to me, this cartoon told the story and continues to tell the story of what's going on in Washington today, where both of our parties are spending less time talking and more time pointing fingers. And this cartoon has one of the magic characteristics of a cartoon. There's not a single word in it. Number 9 on the list is a cartoon I did on South Africa dating back to 1989. And I love this cartoon because it too is a simple image that tells something really strong. And this cartoon was done just in the last throes of apartheid, when it was inevitable to the whole world that we would have a black majority government at some point, but the current white minority rulers didn't see it that way. And I love too that the cartoon is so simple in style. It's one of the few cartoons, I think, that if I had to draw it again, I couldn't draw it any better. Number 8 on the list is one of my favorite ones of George W. Bush, and that is Star Wars. And this shows the comparison between Yoda and George Bush. Now, I've been drawing George Bush for a long time, and he looks like a lot of things, but I never thought he would resemble Yoda, and I had a good time drawing his face in this particular cartoon. Number 7 on the list is a cartoon that I did not long after I returned to work for the newspapers in the United States, after spending 11 years working in the UK. And as a returning resident of the United States, I realized that the perspective of the world from here and abroad is quite different. And this cartoon, I think, kind of wraps it all up in one nice little bundle. Number 6. Now, this is one of the over 140 covers that I've done for The Economist over the years, and it features one of my favorites, Margaret Thatcher. When I lived in the UK, my time there coincided pretty much with the rule of Margaret Thatcher, and she was a pretty interesting person to draw. First, of course, she was a woman, and she was one of the first important political figures to have a hairdo so tall that it was nearly as tall as me. But it meant that I had to learn the craft of caricature in a foreign country, which was of great interest to me. And this cartoon, I think, is one of my favorite caricatures that I did of Margaret Thatcher. Coming in number 5, returning now to the United States, and this is a more contemporary cartoon done just in the past 12 months about the idiocy of going on in contemporary American politics, featuring largely around the Tea Party. I did this cartoon for The Economist, and The Economist, okay, is a global publication, but the internal politics of a party like the Republicans actually plays large around the world. And I felt one of the things that I do as a cartoonist is that I'm part commentator, part entertainer, but also part educator, where I'm trying to teach people or show people the important subjects of the day. And I thought this cartoon really captured the idiocy going on in the United States and how it affected the whole world. Coming in at number 4, this is actually a springtime cartoon based in Baltimore. Now, for many years, I was the daily political cartoonist for the Baltimore Sun, and I've created 4,000 cartoons for the Sun and over 4,000 cartoons for The Economist. And when you do cartoons for a local newspaper, it's usually these very local stories that get everyone's attention. Whether you're drawing cartoons about the mayor or the governor, or in this case, a humorous cartoon about the local baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles. And this also shows that a cartoonist takes a break from the serious news going on around the world. If we just spend our whole time dealing with disasters and political intrigue, I think people get tired of looking at the cartoons. But you do need to break them up every now and then and throw in some light subjects like this one about baseball. All right, coming in at number 3 on the top 10 Cal list is my Bush cartoon that I did for The Economist not too long after Hurricane Katrina hit the United States. And right around the same time, the Bush administration, which had been in firm control of popularity in the first 6 years of its reign, was now beginning to unravel. And it was part the lackluster response that the Bush administration had to the Hurricane Katrina and other things that were going on at the same time. And what is so interesting to me about this cover is that The Economist decided not to run any words on the cover. They just had the cartoon run by itself, and that's never been done before in its 165-year history to that point. All right, number 2 on the top 10 Cal Fab cartoons of his 35-year career, I introduce you to President Bill Clinton, Mr. Slick Willie, as he was known at the time, and this cartoon that appeared in 1998 in The Economist. Now, background story. The cartoon was originally drawn to go along with an article they were doing for the State of the Union address. And at this time, America was actually in surplus, no longer deficits around. And Bill Clinton, the kind of spending Democrat that he was, saw some real opportunities finally to be able to put some money behind programs that he had long supported. So I did this cartoon showing, of course, Bill Clinton's tendency for eating lots of good food and just he was a man of giant appetites all around. So this cartoon worked well until I arrived to the office on Wednesday, our publishing day, to find that the story had changed. Monica Lewinsky's story had just erupted here in Washington, causing a big furor and lots of questions, again, about Bill Clinton's womanizing. So they scrapped the lead editorial that they were going to do, and they wrote a whole nother one about Bill Clinton's problems with women. And then they looked at my cartoon, and they said, you know what? We can use this exact same cartoon on the cover again. We just changed the title. So I guess I did a very flexible cartoon for a very flexible President Bill Clinton. All right, number 1 on the top 10 Cal list is this cartoon about the stock market. Now, everyone has been trying to figure out how the stock market works, and since 1989, when this cartoon first appeared, it seems that thousands of people, including many stockbrokers, think this explains perfectly what's going on in the stock market. I have had so many requests for reproductions of this, whether it's on coffee mugs, in books and periodicals, and certainly prints on people's walls. And all the stockbrokers tell me that this is exactly how it is. So I feel that a cartoon sometimes can tell an awful lot of truth in a very small space. So there we are. That's my top 10 Cal cartoons. Now, I have to tell you, I probably got another 100 cartoons that would also be in my top 10, but these were the ones closest at hand, and I'm really happy that I had this opportunity to share them with you.